Hey everybody, Greg here, and this is another video in the series of videos about bicycle riding in the Iowa City, Coralville, North Liberty area. I'm here at the Iowa River Power Company. Let me show you that. And there have been some other videos I posted from here because this is a familiar landmark. There's a waterfall or dam here near the river, and you can see the sign here indicates that there's a dog park a few minutes east of here. Now that sign just kind of points over in this general direction, but I'm going to show you that today. The other videos I've posted will show the options for heading south or north to the Iowa River Landing, or going west along 5th Street in Coralville to get out toward the library and other destinations. So you want to go up this ramp here and then turn onto the footbridge. Now here you'll see the sign indicates you could go ride your bike down these steps, or I guess walk it down the steps. I provided a shortcut in another video where you just skip this all together and just go around to the trail beyond there. But anyway, we're going to head over to the dog park, which the arrow indicates is right over this bridge. This morning, with the sun just up, you're going to see there's quite a bit of mist here, just in the Spillway area. It's common to see people fishing here off this bridge. But this is a really beautiful ride, and there's some sights to see along the way. I'll point out here to the left, which is to the north, there's a path there with the water behind it. When the water level is higher, as you can see by the edge of the river, there's some just sort of dried up mud over there. Normally the water level is a few feet higher at sometimes during the summer after a rain or whatever, and this will become a spillway, so you can't really ride your bike or walk along there because there's water flowing pretty quickly over that. But today the water level's a little lower. You can also just get a visual of that here. You can see where there's wet mud and even some sand where the river has been. And this area in Coralville has been engineered, I guess you could say, to handle fluctuations in the water level. So if the water level goes down, as you saw, there's an access trail that you can use. If the water level goes up, that trail becomes a spillway. So they're multi-function spaces here in the Coralville area. There are even some trails that are really nice trails that if it floods, they're just not accessible, and when the floodwaters subside, then the trails are accessible again. Once you get out into this area here, you may end up seeing, like there's some deer running along the trail, and there's quite a bit of wildlife in the Iowa City, Coralville area, because there's been an emphasis on preserving natural resources and on revitalizing natural prairies and investing in wetland and better water management. So there's quite a bit of space dedicated as green space. And I suppose, in some cities you might have a developer come in here and say, boy, this is a perfectly wasted use of space, you could bring in a, maybe a Walmart in here and get rid of these deer, and it would be more profitable. But there's some benefits to, maintaining the natural ecosystem. And one of those benefits is just, to be able to get out into a quiet space and enjoy a bike ride or a walk or a run. So anyway, I'm going to slow down here a minute and show you. There are going to be signs along the trails that are helpful. This sign tells us that in about a minute ahead there's going to be Foster Road, and about 10 minutes we'll get to a waterworks park. Now I'm not going to go that far today. That's another video for another day, but although the sign points to the waterworks park, morning, you might not find that just intuitively, because you're going to get in a few minutes here. We're going to get into the Peninsula Neighborhood, and there's not some big sign there that says, hey, bicyclists, go this way to the waterworks park. And so that's why I've created a separate video that shows how to get from the Peninsula Neighborhood to the waterworks park. You'll see that explained in the orientation overview video that uses Google Maps, the bicycle trails version of Google Maps, or Google Maps with the bicycle trails feature turned on, I should say. And in there it shows how to get from Foster Road, and there are a couple of streets you have to turn on, wind around, and then eventually you can go under the interstate, under I-80. There's a tunnel for bicycles. This hill is pretty steep. It's coming up from, just going to show you, Thornberry Dog Park. That's a huge dog park nestled into that area that's near the river. There's some trees between the dog park and the river, but it's really beautiful down there. A lot of people enjoy bringing their dogs here. So as you might imagine, I am riding my bicycle with one hand and holding the camera with another. So if I sound a little winded, that's why. And what we're entering into right now, essentially east of Iowa River Power, is the Peninsula Neighborhood. And the Peninsula Neighborhood is really quite a phenomenon. As you can see as I'm panning the camera here, you have condos, apartments, townhouses, just about every kind of residential housing possibility exists here in the Peninsula Neighborhood. It's almost like somebody studying urban and regional planning said, hey, let's set up a model community to look at, architecture and housing and planning. But anyway, the homes are mostly in these interesting pastel colors. Now, if I had stayed on Foster Road is the road that was heading up from the dog park. If I had stayed on that, it would have just curved around and that would have headed out of the Peninsula Neighborhood area. But as you saw, when I got to the top of the hill, I took the first right turn. And, etiquette from one neighborhood to the next, from one community to the next, will differ, depending on the nature of that space. So You'll notice here I'm just kind of weaving around in the street. There's not really going to be a lot of traffic here. There are no through roads, so you're not getting a lot of through traffic, which means it's usually really very quiet here, which is why the Peninsula neighborhood is very popular. It's a pet-friendly area, and given the dog park, you know, that's part of the reason why. And so we've arrived here at Martin Street and Willenbrock Circle. I'm going to show you around this town square, and if we go a little bit further, we'll be back at Foster Road. And the reason I'm getting you oriented to that is because in another video you'll see how to go from here in the Peninsula neighborhood to the waterworks area, Iowa City waterworks area. So that's a nice ride, and that'll be covered in a different video. But here we are at Foster Road and Walker Circle at the Peninsula Neighborhood Town Square, and just on the side of the town square you'll see are a few businesses. So there's a coffee shop called the Dingo Bar, which is definitely worth coming to check out. They are open usually around 7:30, closed on Mondays. There's also a wellness fitness center right next door to that, and then a wine bar and bistro, which is open in the evenings. So Dingo Bar open during the day, and then the bistro opening 5 o'clock in the evenings. And then around the corner, for people who are dog owners or somebody wanting to get a gift for friends who are dog owners, there is a little shop that has animal treats, dog treats, and dog food and such. So anyway, that's basically this leg of the ride, and appreciate you watching the video. Appreciate all the positive comments and feedback, and if you have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear those too. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.